Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Emily Grafeo, here with David Gura. Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today with Bloomberg News earnings reporter Red Brown. Dollar Tree. This is different than Dollar General.
Right.
This is Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was kind of a drab day in the markets at the end, but we were able to find a couple of movers here. Dollar Tree, one of the big decliners today, and actually went from a really positive report in the world of discount retailers yesterday with Dollar General posting one of its strongest results in years, raising their outlook as well. And then Dollar Tree today doing kind of the opposite. They warned that their second quarter profits could fall as much as 50%, and that's really why we're seeing this quite aggressive move here today. And it just really kind of highlights how different these two companies are. I mean, the main thing that we need to pay attention to is that Dollar General, the one that did well yesterday, gets most of their sales from consumables like milk and cheese and ice cream, things like that you guys are just talking about.
It's thematic today.
Which I wasn't able to hear your whole interview, but I imagine some of those things are maybe less affected by tariffs. Yes. You know, that's something that Dollar General has called out, less affected by tariffs. Dollar Tree, on the other hand, is more of this kind of like, knickknacks and tchotchkes and things like that. Huge exposure to China, and that's really why their bottom line's going to get hit a little bit more harder.
What else are you watching today?
Also, we can go to the positive side is on Semiconductor. They are leading all stocks, actually. They led all stocks today in the S&P 500, also drug up some of other semiconductor names, NXP Semiconductors and Seagate, both in the top 10 performers. And that's actually coming off of just some commentary from the CEO who was speaking at a conference today, just saying that their markets have finally kind of hit bottom. So outside of AI, semiconductors have been kind of struggling. So like industrial, automotive, places like that have been dealing with some kind of a glut of inventory, a lot of their customers, and we're finally starting to get out of that. So on Semiconductor, speaking to that, they're reporting soon, I believe, and if they do report kind of in line, it'll be 2 years of declines, of quarterly declines, but CEO saying that this should be kind of the bottom finally. We've hit rock bottom and we should be able to move on.
So fascinating, because we talk so much about the AI chips and the amount of investment and the cost and the difficulty of making more of them, of these foundries. And
right.
You don't often think about the more workaday
and
smaller semis that you need.
Right. It seems like the non-AI chips, there's an inventory glut because maybe a business you're not going to replace your non-AI chip like every year, right? So you're like, I don't need to buy another one. And then the company suffers. Well, I mean, we have lost so much of the conversation with AI chips, but I think we forget that there was like the supply chain crisis of a few years ago. Companies bought a lot of chips during that to kind of like make sure that they were able to get their products out. And they bought way too much, obviously. And there's also kind of demand issues in some of the end markets. So like automotive and EVs, people weren't buying as many, so you're not making as many. So there's just a couple of different issues, but it does seem like the ship is turning for ON and some of these other kind of, less flashy semiconductor names. Okay, finally, you're looking at CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity company, CRWD. Yeah, that's right. CrowdStrike, a couple of bad headlines coming out of the company today. So they're down around 6%, finished around 6%, was as low as 9% at points during the day. They received an inquiry from the DOJ and SEC requesting information for some of their deals. Bloomberg's been doing some really good reporting around this $32 million deal with Carasoft Technology. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but they are provider of cybersecurity to the IRS. So, they're obviously getting a little bit more government scrutiny for that deal. And, the company's just been kind of tied up with legal issues. And obviously, they dominated the news last year. So this earnings report they had yesterday, which is the other bad headline coming out of the company, kind of a poor showing. First quarter report missed their forecasts for consensus. So a couple of compounding things. This was supposed to be their moment to kind of shed the bad news from last year of the outage. This was supposed to be their fourth quarter, set the path forward. And that's some of these other headlines is kind of taking over of what was supposed to be a positive report.
Just noting here for the first time, I think they're commenting on these investigations. So it's confirming the fact that they're underway and bound to be a problem for them going forward.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.